Hey guys, it's Alise with AJ Money Coach. If you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, you may have seen me talk about my love for sinking funds. And maybe you aren't quite sure what they are or how you can use them in your life. So today I'm going to show you how. Now before we get started, please hit subscribe to my channel so you'll know when I drop more money tips and tricks your way. So sinking funds are also known as savings buckets. They can be either specific savings accounts or buckets within your main savings account, where you save for bigger ticket items or larger non-monthly expenses. Let's take a look at those now. Okay guys, so when we talk about sinking funds, I want you to first start thinking about big ticket items. So this could be something like a house down payment, a replacement car, maybe vacations, maybe some home improvement projects you need to do. And then I also want you to think of those larger non-monthly expenses, things that you pay maybe only once a year or maybe once every 6 months that aren't part of your monthly budget. So things like your car insurance, maybe property taxes if you're a homeowner and don't have those as part of your mortgage payment. Maybe gifts for the year, like holiday gifts, birthday gifts, maybe some car repairs, maybe HOA dues if you live in a homeowners association. Things like that. Those are the things you want to start thinking about. And so we're going to go over here to this how much do I need worksheet. And so I want you to think about where you save for these types of things right now. Like maybe you just have one savings account, a money market account. Maybe it's just extra money in your checking account. That you kind of just know that you need to pay these things non-annually, or you're maybe like saving up some vacation money, but you don't really have a strategy for it. And so like, let's take that account. Let's just say, for example, you have $15,000 in a savings account. That might sound like a lot to some people, but let's just roll with it for the sake of argument here. Okay. So the first thing I want you to do is if you've got your quote unquote emergency fund in that account, I want you to kind of separate that out from this exercise we're doing here. Your emergency fund is that money that you need to cover you for a short-term job loss or some other kind of big emergency that might happen. So let's say in this example, you have $15,000 in your savings account, and maybe you know that like $9,000 is what you feel comfortable having in your emergency fund, like to cover a few months of rent or mortgage or whatever the case may be. Okay. So now you've got $6,000, and that's really where you're kind of saving for all the other things, or you're putting away money for all the other things, but you don't really have a strategy. So what I want you to do here is to say, well, how much of that $6,000 do I kind of in my head have earmarked for different things? And so in this case, I've picked like 10 different types of sinking funds. Now you could have 3, you could have 20. It's really up to you. You call them whatever you want, and you use them as you like. I think personally, I have about 7 sinking funds. I have some of the ones that are on here, and I have some different ones as well. But let's just say, for example, we're going to use these 10 today. And so of that 6,000, you might kind of start earmarking it and say, well, you know, I've got, I think 1,500 of that is really money we've been putting away for a house down payment, maybe for your first house, maybe to move up to a different house at some point. And maybe 1,275 of that is towards a replacement car down the road. And, you know, maybe we've got a little bit set aside for vacations. Maybe we just took a vacation, whatnot. Maybe we've got 250 of that allocated towards home improvement and renovations. And some of this is time-based. So like car insurance, say you just paid your 6-month premium, you don't owe it again for another 6 months. So you've kind of depleted that, and you've got maybe about $95 in there towards car insurance. But property taxes are coming due soon. So you've got a healthier amount saved up for that. And I did all of these numbers ahead of time, so I'm not like a super math whiz here, but say like 216 car repairs, 215 gifts, 542 for homeowners insurance, and 180 towards HOA dues. The point is that I made this equal that 6,000. You're going to probably have to play around with these numbers because you probably don't have this allocated, but you want to know what feels best to you. Like how much of this 6,000 am I going to say is for each of these things right now? And then the next thing you want to do is say, well, how much do I want in this account by the end of the year, or how much do I need in this account during the year? for some of these things. So the easiest thing to do is go to the ones that you know first. So like say your car insurance, you for your family, you pay like $800 every 6 months. That's $1,600 a year. So you need to get $1,600 into there for the year. And then maybe like your property taxes are $2,050 for the year. And you need to get that in there. And your homeowner's insurance is $1,800 for the year. If it's renter's insurance, it's a lot cheaper. And maybe your HOA dues is paid once a year and it's $585. Okay. And then the other things are a little more discretionary. So this is where you say, well, we would like to buy a house, or we would like to upgrade our house or move in the next 5 years. And to do that, we need to be saving at least $5,000 a year towards this longer term goal. So maybe that's what you want to do there. And maybe the same thing with the car replacement. Like, you don't need a car for several years, but you want to be putting away like $4,000 a year towards it. Vacations, hopefully you're using regularly, like maybe once or twice a year. And maybe based on your vacation plans, you want to save about $3,000 a year towards vacations, long weekends, a week trip in the summer, whatever you're going to do. And then maybe you've got some home improvement or renovations coming up and you want to save about $2,500 towards that. Car, let's say, your car's in pretty good shape. It's newer, but you might need tires this year or brakes. So you want to budget about $900 for the year for that. And then gifts, you decide, well, between Christmas, Hanukkah, birthdays, kids' birthday parties, whatever, you decide that you're going to spend about $1,000 over the course of the year for gifts. Okay? And so, again, play around with this, look at it. Okay, so the goal here is that you're trying to get this $6,000 up to $22,435 at some point in the year by the end of the year. And this calculates and tells you, well, to do that, you're going to need to save about $1,370 a month. So you want to stop right here, because if $1,370 a month is not doable for you, like you just cannot afford that, then you're going to have to go in here and kind of rethink some of these goals, and you're going to have to dial some of this back down. You're going to have to be able to account to pay for the stuff you need to pay for, but some of the other stuff that's more discretionary might have to put off and take you a little bit longer. Okay. But let's just say for the sake of it that this number is good, that you can afford that. Maybe you can afford more than that and you'd like to put more away. And you can say, well, gosh, what would it take for us to get our house down payment up to $8,000 by the end of the year? It takes $1,600 a month. Things like that, okay? But I'm going to change that back to $5,000 for now. So you figure out what your comfort level is with this number, because I really want you to get to a number you can commit to. You can be somewhat aggressive, but that you can commit to, okay? And then we get over here to the sinking fund tracker. And so what this has now done is this has pulled over your beginning balance, what's in your account as of today for each of these categories that you've chosen, 6,000. And then it's already laid in that each month, this is how much you need to save toward each of these goals in total. So if you're working here with just one savings account, it's great. You can do a transfer once a month from your checking to your savings account of this amount. You can round up to $1,370 or $1,375 and get a few extra bucks in there. And then you have this little chart here to tell you how much is building towards each, or how much is going into each of these buckets each month. Okay. And if you just stayed with that all year and you never spent any of the money, which is unlikely, I'm going to move my head over here, then it'll show you that at the end of the year, you should have all of this in that account and you might have a few extra bucks of interest. Okay. But that's not reality, right? So let's talk through this. Okay. So, January looks great. New year, new resolutions. We're saving exactly what we said we were going to put into there. And we didn't spend any of it. We're kind of on a holiday hangover. We're not saving or not spending any other money here. February comes along, good. Okay, everything, we're saving exactly what we planned to save. But, my brakes went out on the car. I had to spend $225. That's okay. That's what we're saving money for, right? So you're going to go in here and say that you spent the $225. Okay? And then let's say March comes along and, you made a little bit of extra money. You had a side job. You had a little bit of extra hours worked. You did something and you made a few extra bucks and you're like, gosh, I want to actually put a little bit more away here. I'd like to maybe, put an extra $100 towards the vacation and, maybe an extra $350 towards our house down payment, right? Whatever's important to you. Okay. And then April comes along and, oh, that car insurance is due in April. So what did we say? It was going to be like $800 every 6 months. So we've got to spend $800 here. Okay. And then, you know, somebody's birthday is in May and we've got to spend $100 there. And, oh, property taxes are also due in May for the full year, and that's $2,050. Okay. So got to spend, got to do it. It's okay. So June comes along and it's, you get a bonus at work. Like you get like a $3,000 bonus at work, let's say. And you spend like $500 of it, you take your family out, you do something fun. And the other $2,500, you know, you say, well, gosh, I want to put, you know, another extra $1,000 towards the house payment. And I want to maybe put another extra $500 towards our car replacement. And what did I say? It was $3,000 and we've just put another $1,500. So another $500 here. That gets us $1,500. That gets us $2,000. And we've got another $500. And you're like, ooh, I just realized like both cars are going to need tires. So I'm going to stick an extra $500 in there just in case. Okay. And July comes along and it's like, woohoo, summer break, time to go on vacation. And we're gonna, you know, we're gonna go on a fun family vacation for the week, and we spend about $2,000 on that. Okay. And August comes around and it's like, ooh, this is a tough month. A lot of things came up and I just really can't commit to that full $1,300 this month. And so you decide, well, I put some extra in the house or in the vacation budget earlier in the year, so I'm gonna, you know, reduce that a little bit, and I'm gonna reduce, you know, that a couple hundred, and that'll help me out. Freed up about $300 for that month there. And then when did we pay that car insurance? In April, so October we'll be spending the other $800 of car insurance, right? All of this stuff. December comes around and, oh, it's time for Christmas gifts, and got some other birthdays this month. And, oh, also had to, do tires on one of the cars. And, December is a really crazy month, and the homeowner's insurance is also due at that time. Okay. So what this does though is shows you this was your plan, your savings plan. This was your, you know, and then you put in your spending. And so by the end of the year, you've got $6,150 in a house down payment. You've got about $2,500 in a car replacement. You you took the one vacation, you put a little bit more money in there, and you got something saved up for a big vacation next year. I didn't really do any of the home improvements, car insurance, property taxes, all of that stuff is, homeowner's insurance is right on, nailed it, right on what you expected to pay. You've got still a little bit to pull over for car insurance, and your HOA dues, let's say, is due in January the following year, so you just haven't quite paid that yet. Okay, and then you'll transfer these over to the next year, and then you'll kind of set your goals again and do the same thing. So I hope you now have a better understanding of sinking funds and that you've already thought of some categories where you can implement these in your life. If you like this video, please give it a like and be sure to subscribe. We'll talk to you again soon.